Welcome to Wellness Warriors, a podcast addressing the root causes of illness and their natural solutions. And now your hosts of Wellness Warriors, Dr. Justin Lane and Michele Schroeder.
Well, hello, Dr. Justin Lane. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Michael. How about yourself?
I'm doing most excellent. And Michele, how are you doing?
Doing great. Good to be here.
And how's everyone's hormones today? Are we all feeling in balance?
I think we're doing
Super
well.
balanced.
Yes.
Doing
we're
good.
we're in harmony today.
Yes.
I think we should talk a little bit about hormones today. And I think we should talk about that because those are the notes that Michele gave me. So that's going to be a good thing to talk about. I want to first discover, what's a little bit more about hormone imbalances. Things like insulin, cortisol, stuff like that. Michele?
Yeah. So we have a lot of different hormones in our body, and they're chemical messengers that have to do with a lot of the different functions of our body at our cellular level. And we have things like insulin that balances blood sugar and does a whole lot more. And then there is our thyroid hormone. There's cortisol, which is our stress hormone. There are the sex hormones like testosterone or progesterone or estrogen. Vitamin D is an actual hormone as well. And there's some precursor hormones like DHEA and probably a whole lot more I'm not talking about, like leptin that helps us with our appetite balance. Hormones are just very much a part of who we are.
Justin, anything to add about that?
Oh, how much time do you have?
We have 21 minutes and 14 seconds.
Oh my gosh! Well, in that case,
12 seconds.
I think that's a good overview. That's a good summary. I mean, hormones regulate all our body functions, our temperature, our mood. If you're alive, you have hormones pumping through your body, and they're needed.
We were talking earlier that vitamin D is a hormone.
Yeah, it acts like a hormone, exactly. And a lot of people don't get enough in the sun. A lot of people say, I'll just be in the sun. Well, that can help. When you're fully exposed, that's when your vitamin D gets made. It gets actually synthesized on your skin. So if you were bathing in your backyard in a bathing suit, that's a great way, 10 or 15 minutes to get some D. The challenge is those people usually go from their backyard to the shower. And that's the problem, is that you just washed off all the benefit. So it actually synthesizes on the skin, so you need skin exposure. But even then, you don't get enough vitamin D through the sun anymore. So most of us supplement and get our D levels up based on what we're trying to do with our health. But it's a good immune support, for sure.
Like a D3 supplement?
Exactly, yeah. Vitamin D3 is the most common one.
And
So,
I want to ask
yes,
Justin
please.
a question. A lot of people that come to you, get their blood work done, have low D, and many of those people have the autoimmune challenges.
Yeah.
Can you speak to why that's the case?
That's a clue, actually. So sometimes we'll do blood work and we'll see really low vitamin D, like 8 or 10. The standard range is 30 to 100. And folks who are autoimmune tend to have really low vitamin D, 10, 12, 15. I mean, it's really low. And a lot of that's an immune, they're immunocompromised. So their immune system's weakened. It's been going on for months and years by the time usually they come to our office, and they don't know about that. So it's a clue. It's also a sign that the immune system is weakened or it's been compromised. And so vitamin D is really important. It's important to have optimal levels of that.
So if our immune system's compromised, that kind of goes back to what we've talked about on earlier podcasts about using food as medicine. Wouldn't that be correct?
Yeah.
Making sure
Absolutely.
that helps to keep your immune system up and working properly. And stuff
Exactly.
Like that.
And as a matter of fact, hormones are kind of downstream from all the things we have been talking about on the podcast. So if someone comes in and their hormones are messed up, they likely need to address toxins. They likely need to address their gut health. They need to address nutrition, because all of those and their blood sugar levels, everything we've talked about.
I call it the core 4. So there's if hormones are your primary concern, let's say you're in middle age, you're going through menopause, you have the classic hot flashing, night sweating. Yeah. So that's to be expected going through menopause. But we also, like Michele said, want to look upstream. And so the core 4, and we have, for a lot of our clients, this is speaking directly to you guys, is what's going on, what's affecting your hormone balance, number one. And the first thing is to balance your BS, right?
Oh, yes. I have a plethora of BS.
Yes. So so blood sugar, or the bull, you know what?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's both of those things that need to be balanced and addressed. But blood sugar imbalances are probably the most common thing for both men and women who come in. 1 out of 2 Americans now, or 1 out of 3, I don't know the exact percentage, but are pre-diabetic. So we're challenged with blood sugar because of our food system and how we've been trained and conditioned to eat and what to eat from. And so blood sugar for a guy who has irregular blood sugar, he'll convert his testosterone in the body into more estrogen, right? And then we get effeminate and we grow what we call gynomastidia, man boobs, and we get more irritable. It's male menopause or andropause is another term for it. It's middle age. We tend to be less active and not eat well, and then our hormones shift and change. So that can result with higher estrogen levels in men. Women can go the other way. They'll convert their estrogen, their estradiol in particular, which is E2. E2 is estradiol, di is 2, estradiol. That gets converted to testosterone in the body with blood sugar imbalances. So, polycystic ovarian syndrome, we're talking about younger women now who have fertility challenges, have been labeled as having PCOS. PCOS is polycystic ovarian syndrome. It's when cysts start to develop on the ovaries with insulin receptor sites. It's caused by our diet and lifestyle. It's a blood sugar disorder, and it's treated barbarically, in my opinion. They're just given medication, and there's no real education or instruction on lifestyle. So those are the 2 ways it can be skewed for both men and women. So balancing your BS is really important for your hormones. And to Michelle's point, the second core piece of that is gut health. Our hormones are made in our digestive tract. So a lot of folks have infections in their gut, intestinal permeability, leaky gut, or variety of other things, and so they're just it's not communicating well, and they're not making their hormones properly. The liver, as Michele said, that's the third piece, liver detox. Some folks don't detox well, and that can be the cause of a hormone imbalance. When we use our hormones, we want to lose them. We use up the estrogen and testosterone, we get all the benefit, and then the metabolites, or the leftovers, are toxic, and they have to go to the liver and get processed out of the body. Some people don't process very well. Right? The liver is like the garbage can. It'll take fat and make it into water, and then we can get rid of it. And then, to Michelle's point, the fourth thing is your diet. Enough essential fatty acids. Your fatty acids are your omega-3s. Those are your anti-inflammatories. Those things come from fish oil and coconut oil and avocado oil. That's what your hormones are made from. So that's like the raw material. So we need all 4 of those things playing nicely together and in good shape to have healthy hormone balance. That's a foundation to a house that we build for all the women and men we work with. And then in each case, sometimes we have to customize it even more.
Yep.
Yeah, go
I'm
ahead,
ready
Michele.
to just take off here.
Yeah.
So people come to us, and as we start making some of those changes he's talking about and optimizing their health, they find that they lose anxiety, their depression gets better, they're less moody, they lose a little bit of weight around their middle. There's just a lot of benefits from doing the things that he just talked about.
Well, actually, what he talked about, part of it terrified me, especially the part of if my blood sugar gets out of whack, I'm going to become more effeminate.
That's possible.
Which could explain why I'm thinking we need to redo the curtains in the studio. So what role, it seems like these hormones play a big role in our bodies. Are they kind of the equalizing factor to everything that goes on inside of us? Is that what these things do?
Yeah.
They're chemical messengers, and so they signal to the cell to do what the cell is intended to do, which keeps the body healthy. And if you have a gunked up cell or an inflammation, rusty cells, gunked up cells, however you want to look at it, then the signal that goes and lands on that cell, it cannot send the right message, and therefore the cell doesn't do the right thing. And it can mess with all of your body systems when you don't have cells signaling the way they're supposed to.
So basically, they're like computer programmers that are encoding data into a certain database, and if the internet connection is gunked up, then that message is not going to get through, and the desired effect is not going to happen.
Exactly.
And they have to call the the estrogen or androgen equivalent of Google to get the thing fixed,
Right.
which is where you guys come in.
Yeah.
So does the hormone imbalances, do they affect the autoimmune system at all?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Hormone imbalances are a trigger of autoimmunity. So some people have too much of them, too much estrogen, not as much, too much testosterone. It's possible. I do see it. It's usually from overdoing it, usually taking testosterone. But yeah, you can have too much of these things and you can have too little. And what that starts to do is destabilize your immune system. So it weakens your body, it weakens your immune system, and it can perpetuate the autoimmunity, or it can trigger a flare-up in some cases. So there's reasons, though, beyond symptoms to have your hormones balanced. A lot of folks think, well, I have no libido, so let me figure that out. Or I have hot flashes and night sweats, and let me get that under control. And those are important things to address. But the underlying thing with hormones is that they build tissue in the body. So they're what we call anabolic. Both testosterone and estrogen, they build your muscles, they build your tone and your turgor. And so sometimes people are, having brain fog. They're having symptoms of atrophy. The brain is a muscle. The heart's a muscle. So if we don't have optimal, hormone levels, our body starts to decline or to atrophy.
That makes sense. So how can I tell if my hormones are out of balance or if I'm just tired or been sitting around too much? How do I know?
Well, it depends on which one's out of balance. And like, for example, if insulin isn't being treated correctly or you have too much blood sugar or whatever, then you're likely to be really fatigued,
Okay.
especially after a meal. And if you have estrogen dominance, you're going to end up having too much fat around the middle.
The hips in particular.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Weight gain with too
gain.
much estrogen.
Yeah.
Whether you're a young woman or an older woman, it's the same.
And you can be PMSing if you're still in that point, or having perimenopause, things like that, with too much estrogen. So
Okay.
moodiness, depression, anxiety, all of it is affected.
So I guess the short answer is depends on the hormone. Some hormones like cortisol or stress hormone, that can manifest with weight gain over the belly. So we call it belly fat. Mm-hmm. Estrogen is more over the hips, with the saddlebags. That's usually nearly where the ovaries are. Okay. You can have low testosterone, low estrogen. For women later in life, it's not only the hot flashes, the night sweats, but things like vaginal dryness, painful intercourse, a low libido. I mean, those are all related to sex hormone symptoms. So it just depends. Hot flashes or night sweats, I should say, that's usually a progesterone deficiency.
Anxiety, progesterone deficiency can really create, you get rid of the calming hormone, because progesterone is sort of a calming hormone.
Yeah,
Oh.
or you don't sleep as well.
Or you
that
don't
could
sleep
be,
as
that
well.
could be low
Yeah.
low progesterone as
Yeah.
well, or cortisol. So.
Yeah.
Wow. So basically, we're a mess.
We have the potential to be a mess.
We have the potential to
and
be a
we
mess.
also
Have-
have the
Wow.
potential not to be a mess.
Exactly.
Let's do
And that's
that.
the message I really want to put off
Yes.
on these podcasts, because we have people coming all the time that get told by their doctors, well, nothing you can do. Or they go in and they don't even test their hormones. They go off of symptoms and they tell them, take this hormone replacement therapy. Don't do any more tests. The person goes back and says, oh, ever since I started taking that, I gained 20 pounds in 1 month. And without any more testing, they just switch them up again. They're not working closely with anybody to really help them balance their hormones. And they're definitely not telling them anything about upstream factors like we've just talked about that can actually give them control of their life.
Yeah,
So-
no time for that in the
Yeah.
conventional model. It's
Yeah.
5 minutes out of my office with a prescription. There's no-
I was talking about that with a friend today, and she had a doctor who actually called and said, well, how come you never came back after this particular appointment, which is kind of rare for a doctor to do that.
Yeah.
And she said, you spent 4 minutes with me. You didn't care. I'm not ever coming back to you. And he's in a model, which I won't name any names, but where he's supposed to see that many clients. He's supposed to spend no more than 5 minutes with a patient at a time.
That's the business model for the medical system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I like about you guys is that you take the time, you do the tests. You don't just go down a chart and say, okay, take this pill. That'll be $500. Come back next week. So how do you test for hormone imbalance? Is it a blood test? Or?
Usually a blood test is the gold standard still. So measuring your hormones, and for women who are still menstruating, we like to know where you're at in your cycle when you go in for your blood draw. That helps with understanding the lab values. But yeah, blood work for most of your sex hormones, most hormones. I would say cortisol is an exception. It's harder to do that through blood because you have to do it at 4 very specific times of the day, and the lab closes at like where we live at 3:30 in the afternoon. Yeah. So you wouldn't be able to do it in the afternoon or evening. So saliva is just as good for cortisol. That's reproducible and it's accurate and it holds up over the transit of getting it to the lab from you at your home. So, but yeah, mostly blood. Blood's still usually the gold standard.
Oh, that's pretty interesting. So how long does it take to get a test back from either the lab or there's something you send in with the saliva?
For us, I mean, it varies depending on your setup, but for us, it's usually 10 to 14 days until we get the results back. So blood draw, and then 2 weeks later, we're talking about it for, in our office, 90 minutes. I spend an hour and a half with clients, which it's always a joke because I ask people, when was the last time you had 90 minutes with your doctor? And I get the never answer, or it's very rare. So that's really our mission, though, is to educate. So that's why I spend the time with clients, because I want people to be empowered and be the CEO of their own health. So you need to have some basic understanding of how your body's working, and more importantly, what you can do about it, what action you can take to really move the needle and get you to your outcome.
And the amount of hope that gives people is incredible. I was just talking to one of our shared clients just today, and she's just feeling so good about being here, getting the answers, knowing that there's action she can take. She said she went to her other doctor yesterday, and she got told, well, there's really not anything you can do about that. And then she goes to see Dr. Lane, and she finds out and talks to me, and she finds out, oh, yeah, there are things she can do. And that is really empowering to her.
Yeah, because usually it's, what do you hear? It's in your head, you're just getting older, or worse, you're making it up, and we're going to give you a medication, and we think you're drug seeking. I mean, the kind of things that we hear are mind blowing.
And if you ever hear your doctor say, there is nothing you can do about this.
Red flag.
Right there, you think, okay, there is no medication that you can give me for this, because that's what they're really saying, is there is no, you don't know how to fix it. So therefore you say it's incurable or there's nothing you can do about it. But that doesn't mean there isn't some alternative methods that actually address root cause and the issues that are upstream, and you can really get the help you need when you address that.
It seems to me that when you mentioned the lady felt empowered and she felt really good about herself, it seems to me that helped her have a positive mindset. And I think when we have a positive mindset, that's probably a contributing factor to our overall wellness and health and our autoimmune system and keeping our hormones in balance. So I think that in and of itself is the fact that you're able to give people hope.
Oh, for sure.
A positive mindset. Oh my gosh, I'm not going to feel this way forever, and I don't have to take these ridiculous pills at $500 a whack or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think Michelle would agree. Mindset is probably 80% of anything. In this case, healing is having proper mindset and basically having your why, knowing what you want and why. That's the biggest thing you need to clarify for yourself. A lot of people go, I want to get healthier, I want to feel better. I'm like, here's an apple. Did that work? Is that enough? Right? Let's get more specific, because when our brain is specific, when we go, I want 80% more energy, or I want to lose 50, I want to gain 50 pounds of lightness back. Like specifics, your brain will focus on that and you'll get there. And the how will help with the how. That's the easy part. The harder part is for most people really being in their body and going, this is what I want and this is why I want it.
And this is how I will know that I got it.
Exactly.
That's a way to really narrow that down. How will you know that you got it?
Yeah, I think that's incredible, because I've never talked to any doctors or medical professionals or wellness professionals that say those exact things. Like, number one, you need to set specifics. You need to set a specific goal. I want to do this, and I want to do it by this date. And then you figure out the steps that are needed to accomplish that goal.
Yeah, instead of starting, the mistake we all tend to make is starting with how, and then we get stuck in that tyranny. And you get stuck. I've never done this before. I don't know what to do. So then you just don't do it. Whereas if you know what you want and why, and who can help me get to the outcome, and that's kind of where Michelle and I come in.
I think that's great. So if someone has questions about hormones, hormone imbalance, and that kind of stuff, how can they get a hold of you?
First step is to check us out. You can call us 435-246-7642. That's our number. Or Elemental Natural Medicine. We do work virtually and long distance with folks. So if you're out of state listening to this, we can probably still help you. That's a good start.
Michele?
Yeah, you can go to my website, kmichelleschroeder.com. And if you come to and you book a discovery call or a session with me, and you have hormone issues, I'm going to send you back to Dr. Lane for the testing. But because you want to know exactly what's off. So, but I can help with all the lifestyle things to get them balanced. So,
put it this way, if you follow Michelle's advice, you'll get better. It's the implementation. It's execution. That's what it takes.
That's great. I want to restate also that when they go to your website, it's the initial K, and Michele has one L.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah.
Hopefully we have a link below this. So
yeah.
It's all clear.
Yeah.
But if you're listening, that's how you do it. Just letter K, Michele, one L. You got it. Anything else before we head on down the road?
Oh my gosh, we could spend more time doing this, but we'll have another one.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say, like, when you're dealing with your hormones, just don't forget that you need to deal with all of the other triggers as well, because those are triggering the hormones to be out of balance. So just remember that.
Got it. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll see everybody again next time with another exciting episode of the Wellness Warriors.
This has been Wellness Warriors, giving people the knowledge to have a healthy and vibrant life. For more information, elementalnaturalmedicine.com and kmichelleschroeder.com. We invite you to join us next time for another edition of Wellness Warriors.
We'll cut this up into shorts, and now that we're on